But these Just Stop Oil people, I mean, they've been doing this now, you know, stopping traffic, gluing themselves to motorways, and now they've chosen theatres. They've been destroying or damaging artworks at galleries. You know, these very public demonstrations. It's very important we do this. We understand that people are upset, but, you know, we've got a planet to save. Well, here they are, 2 years into this pathetic campaign. What's the result of it? Rishi Sunak announcing 2 weeks ago he's going to do a complete U-turn on green policies and get rid of a load of them. So why are they still doing this when it's clearly utterly ineffective?
Well, my heart does go out to the people in the audience who, as you say, pay good money to be there. It could have been a really important family occasion for them. I remember seeing it with my dad. It was a wonderful memory seeing that play. And so for them to ruin it for people in the audience is a very despicable thing to do. I mean, one thing reflecting here is, you know, Les Miserables itself is about people who did break the law because they did think they have had a reasonable cause. You know, so it is really important for us to actually attack and actually examine Just Stop Oil's cause. You know, they are unfortunately inspiring some people to behave in a similar way and do similarly destructive things. The point here is, if we did Just Stop Oil, that would cause immense suffering overnight. You know, oil and fossil fuels at the moment are essential to our modern way of life. And politicians have promised to transition us away from that. And as the Prime Minister has said when he reversed or slightly backpedaled on the speed of how fast we would go to achieve net zero, you know, he said we have to do this in a pragmatic way, and that's absolutely right. What these people want is just for everything to shut down, and that would be far more damaging than anything that we would experience from climate change. And climate change is real, it's a significant problem, but at the same time, we can look at the numbers and see that fewer people are dying in extreme weather events than ever before. And actually, the United Nations says that there's low confidence in any trends in flooding, in droughts, in tropical storms. So what they say about climate change is completely divorced from the reality of what the science actually tells us about climate change. Political leaders need to call out this misinformation for what it is. They spout misinformation all the time. You know, if the world really was going to end, this may be a rational cause of action, but actually what they believe about climate change is completely wrong.
Yeah, it's incoherent. I mean, it's sort of ecologically illiterate. Doesn't seem to take into account that even if we do reach this sort of bizarre carbon net zero thing in 2050, carbon net zero does not involve the elimination of oil, gas and fossil fuels. It does not involve that. They will still be there. So their whole kind of central proposal is just nonsense. And you have to ask, and given that we've seen that the whole effect on government is to stage a U-turn on their former greenery and say, actually, we're going to ditch quite a few of these green policies, you wonder what it is, why they're doing this, because they've just seen demonstrably 2 weeks ago that their campaign to persuade the government to stop using oil, a stupid proposal, as I say, just has not worked at all. So why are they still doing it?
Well, they're displaying what seems to be like cult-like behaviour. You know, you wouldn't invite members of all sorts of wacky religious cults on to these big public platforms all the time. But sometimes you look at what Just Stop Oil do, you see how members of their organisation are then appearing in the media, and you can see the justification. You can see the fact that they're getting a bigger platform. You know, whenever they're getting a platform, they're getting a platform to spread their deeply damaging views. You know, children are being misled by this. Children are thinking the world's going to end, and they're having nightmares about climate change when they don't need to be having those thoughts at all. So these are irresponsible people spreading irresponsible views, but they're inspired to do so by their cult-like devotion to this cause. People in our modern secular society still need something to believe in. And for these people, they want to believe in everyone's sins being expressed through their carbon dioxide emissions. And the only way to achieve salvation is to reduce our emissions. Otherwise, we're facing the apocalypse. This is a classic religious style narrative, and we're seeing where those views.
Yeah, they're a weird death cult.